Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, August 13, 2023, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. How many of us know, I mean, genuinely, without guessing, what God is? Have any of us ever sat and contemplated that? What is God? Do we know? Many of us think that God is something in the sky or somewhere else that checks in on us every now and then gets vengeful and destructive when is upset with us. Or will punish us if we don't be good, and all those things. Now, we say we know, and the interesting thing is that, and this is the truth of existence, is that we, all of us, are God. That's it. There isn't one being. It is a culmination of all gods in all physical forms. Or it may not be physical form, it may be something else. But that's God. So if you take God away, what do you have? You have pure consciousness. And then what do you have after pure consciousness? What do you have before it? What's beyond pure consciousness? Pure consciousness. So it continues to expand. That's what this is all about. The God Chorus Love Light Energy expanding throughout existence, throughout the universe. Never ending, always expanding. Now, obviously, after a trillion years of inhabiting different physical elements or bodies or whatever, we have picked up quite a major, massive grouping of experience, right? And it's like, say you fly to a planet and you're looking around and you stay there for, they say, a month or so, and you're looking at things and saying, I would change this, I would change that, and I think the planet should have more water on it, and you see, those types of conversations won't be pie in the sky, they'll be reality. We can do anything, be anything, whatever we choose. No restrictions, no limitations whatsoever. Now obviously, as gods, we are responsible. Excuse me. And so the responsible means that you do things, you manifest things, you create, but you're consciously aware of what you are through the heart mind. So it isn't for personal gain, it isn't for the ego mind's embellishment, it is for the God within us. So then, therefore, we create things that are in harmonistic association with all that there is. We don't manifest things that would be destructive, and disassembling. Quite the opposite. We manifest things that will enhance and improve and help the ecosystem, environmental system on the planet in all life forms. They're not and I know it's difficult for some people because they look at their bodies and they say, well, how if that's the case, then I should be able to heal my body. But you don't know what your connection is with the God that you are. See, that's separation, and that's the illusion. Most of us don't pursue spiritual enlightenment. We pursue physical, material enlightenment. Can you imagine what would transpire if the majority of us literally embraced spiritual? Everything changed. But it's also, a lot of people say, "Oh, that'd be great. I could manifest anything I wanted." Well, yeah. But would you? That's the key. Would you? There are rules, there are laws throughout the universes. Who created those laws? Essence. Pure essence, pure power. There's the really high, reverent power, and then there's the really low, dark, deceptive power. The only reason that exists is so we have comparison. See, we create these things so that we can make comparisons in this life. So how would we know that there is darkness? And I'm not talking about night and day, but that there even is darkness. How do we know that? Unless we have goodness, and then we can compare the two. Well, this is really bad, and this is really good. I'm not going to do this because it doesn't come out well, and it's really low dank frequency. I'm going to do this because it comes out very well, and it sustains me in higher and higher vibrational and harmonic frequencies. But knowing what God is imperative. There isn't, and this freaks people out too, it's because of their insecurity and ego mind, but there isn't a one God. There are many gods that make up the one. Okay? And then collectively, we, the gods, make decisions on how things are going to be created. Just like this planet being brought out of what? Tyranny and evil and pure evil. And being liberated. Who decided that? Really? I mean, was there a decision made? That this planet for so long was just a vile place, filled with pure evil, demons, destructive forces, manipulation, dishonesty to the T. What decided for this planet to transcend into greater frequency, higher? We did. We have a massive part of the collective consciousness. We decided together that we weren't going to have this anymore, that we wanted the planet to be cleaned up. We wanted all this evil and this pure evil and the degradation of the civilization to be eliminated. Every vestige, every last crumb, every last particle of existence of the pure evil. Now, we all know the difference, all of us do, between evil and good. We know the difference. Evil is very destructive, very arrogant, self-identifying, very deceptive, very manipulative, loves to destroy. And good is the opposite of that. So you have a positive force and a negative force. And for thousands and thousands of years, the negative force has really, honestly, rammed this planet. Now it is not running the planet. And its grip is no longer there. So the good thing about this is, all of it is that we know the difference. Those of us who are aware and awake know the difference. We know it's not going to be a piece of cake after the aftermath of this planet. We know that there's going to be a lot of using the noggin and understanding, what we're going to put in as far as infrastructure, how we're going to help others. All of those key areas we're going to do. And It is difficult because you really want to smack these beings and blow them right off the planet permanently because of what they've done. But because of what they've done has shook existence of humanity. And that shaking of existence, along with the photon energy field, and all the combinations of those energies and frequencies, are waking up a lot of people. So in a way, the flip side of it is that it does have good to it. It's a catalyst. Doom and the gloom. Created fear is what evil does. It creates fear. It's its most powerful control factor is to instill fear in the people. Now, if you have fear, most likely you're going to create that. You're going to really create that wall and to keep them locked away. And I'm talking about the good people. Now, are pure evil people good? Believe it or not, there is some good intentions with them, but it is so tainted that it's been directed to the more of a Luciferian, satanic, dishonest, basically, operation. Lie, cheat, steal, disrespect, and create a lot of pain and suffering. Our end is a no-brainer. We eliminate it. That's it. What do? You eliminate it. You get rid of it. As soon as you see it, you eliminate it. You know what it is, how it's made up, and we have the opportunity to do it, so we're doing it. Full liberation of this planet, we're doing it. Now, it doesn't mean that we cognitively know that we're doing it, yeah. But deep inside, the gods that we are know. And see, because of the collective consciousness being such a much a higher point of light, it's not interested in, see, it's grown way beyond. This is the dilemma on the planet. In most instances, war, the civilization has grown beyond war, beyond conflict, beyond deceit and dishonesty. It no longer wishes to entertain it or give it any type of energy and frequency. Just another thing that's happening on this planet. People have just decided they're just not going to participate in it. You know, they're not acknowledging it. That's quite the opposite. They are acknowledging it, and they are looking at it. But they're not doing it anymore from a fearful position. They're doing it from a fearless position. Because they're starting to realize they feel it within them, that it's dying. You're watching it die. And we know that the reason that is because of how they have created such a mystique, if you will, about all the lies and deceit and everything. And to find that out, we desire to. Some people say, well, no, I'm going to leave well enough alone. I don't really care to discover that. Why? What are you afraid of? Don't you think it's a better slate, a clean slate, once you get all the garbage out front and center, and that we as a civilization, digest it, that we look at it from every angle and every possibility, so that we know what has transpired on this planet? All of us, that we know. And why is that a good thing? Because it sets up the direction of always being able to identify any encroachment of anything dealing with evil on this planet. You're not going to have it. The majority of people, generation after generation, embrace the fact that honesty, blows away dishonesty. And practice honesty. And practice sharing your emotions and feelings. There's a lot to it. I know that because when you listen to these meditations, there's all these avenues and things that you can do every morning. And, but it's up to you what you choose and how you do it. I make suggestions, but it's literally, it all comes down to you. All about you. Now, obviously, it would be absolutely phenomenal in the event that people just finally, in the billions, just embraced it, threw away the religious attachments of man-made religions, found out the actual creation of them and why they were created, find out the true history of the man called Jesus and all of the others. There's not that many, the handful of others. We don't know what we are. We really don't. We knew what we are and who we are. None of this would be happening on this planet. And so, is it supposed to happen? Well, we deemed it to happen. So I guess it's supposed to happen. All this upheaval and everything. A lot of people, now when you look at it from a different perspective, we know lethargy, we know what it is to be lazy, we know what it is to just kick back and do nothing. We know all that. But see, this civilization has become so complacent and so enthralled with the material physical world that it doesn't have a clue about the truth. Why would it? It was pre-programmed by bicameral people's thoughts. That's a real wingy right there. And we all were. That's why some of us still worship statues. Statues are just a representation. Like you write something down on a piece of paper and you read it over and over again. You're not worshiping the words that you write or the paper it's written on at all. You're reminding yourself. It's a reminding agent. Statues are a reminder of things that remind you about certain things and how to be with certain things. Okay? They're not gods. They're not creations. See what I mean? They're the real deal. And things remind us. That's why we have statues. Remind us of beauty, remind us of our intentions and our commitments. But see, in bicameral land, they were actually to us gods. It's crazy. And they still are on this planet. People still worship them. And they're just statues. It's asinine. It's just totally crazy. So when you look at all the programming that has befallen humanity and what they believe in, and, they've taken their direction to believe in certain religions, but they really haven't been told the truth of those religions. And they haven't been told that literally being in a man-made religion keeps you out of the way. We have so many avenues, right? It's like when you walk down into a grocery store, right, and you see all these varieties, and you really can't make your mind up. You just go, look at, there's so many. And you read the ingredients on this and that, you go, oh, that one's out, and that one's out, and you start filing through them. And then you find one that you feel good about and you get. Well, that's kind of like what we do. Subconsciously, we're refining and looking and reviewing. Most of us are not in control of our manifesting power, so it flails around on a continual basis and it manifests all kinds of stuff. A lot of it we just never cared to have it manifest, but it did. But in the long run, it taught us a lot of things. in the long run. Now, see, the ego mind plays this role of villain and savior. They can be a villain and conjure up all kinds of crap and garbage that you end up walking through and experience. Somebody says something that you know, let's say you know them, okay? They're not a complete friend. It wouldn't matter, though. It'd be more impactful if you knew them. And they came out and said that you were just an absolute scoundrel, that you were filth on the planet, and they just blasted you with that. Now, obviously, you know that that's not true. But how would it affect you? How would it affect you? Would it hurt you? Would it debilitate you? Even though you know that it isn't true, and what difference does it make? It doesn't, does it? It's all about you. Any aspirations or accusations that anybody throws at you are a reflection of what's going on with them, not you. It's a reflection that goes on with them. Could be jealousy. Could be that they're just angry with themselves beyond compare. But it isn't you. It's them. And a lot of us don't realize that. Because what happens is if people say, oh, I overheard so-and-so and they're saying nothing. Oh, okay, no big deal. And you just kind of blow it off. You focus on it, say. Now, if you focus on it, you're going to create more of it. And I have proven to myself over and over and over again, repeatedly, if you do the same thing over and over and over again, and you expect different results from doing that same thing over and over and over again, you won't ever get any kind of different result. Most of us do the same thing over and over again expecting a positive response from it. But if you do the same thing over and over again, it doesn't work, and you keep doing it, and it doesn't work, and you keep doing it, and it doesn't work, then why do you keep doing it? See? We do that. We're creatures of habit. So it is like you're in command. You're in the captain's chair. And let's say that your only focus is straight ahead. Nothing around you. Nowhere. It's only straight ahead. How much do you think you're going to miss doing that? So we're all a bunch of guys. When it really boils down to it, in about the simplest way you can put it, we're a bunch of supreme, omnipotently powerful, immortal, supreme beings that never die, are master manifestors, master creators, are the only thing that's real, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. Collectively, as a collective consciousness, all of us throughout the galaxy and beyond, focus on these things. We want them fixed. It's like there's so many viruses running through this universe. Heck, for just this quadrant of the galaxy and all the star systems. It's amazing. Obviously, they can't come into the atmosphere. They're out in space. But it's never ending for us. This journey, people think it ends. No, it's just another chapter. It's over. Leave the body, and then you're on from there. But it's endless. What else would we do? Go back to the one, the source, and just sit and do what? Become nothing again? I don't think so. People talk about us going home. We're already home. Wherever we go, we're home. The God within us is there. We don't need advice from anybody or anything. We have all the answers contained within us through the that we are. All we got to do is dip into it. We have all of this disharmony, which is basically old and dank fear, which we've all visited many times, and it just doesn't grip us like it used to. You notice that? It's there, yeah, you see it. And you might dip into it here and there, but you go, it's not the same. I just don't have an interest in it anymore. And you start to realize that you're fearless. You don't fear fear. And things shift and change. And your direction changes because you're doing things differently. You're not doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results from it. You're doing things differently. You're shifting gears. You're making a decision for yourself to go within, stay within, focus on the breath in the moment, be in deep gratitude 24/7, be always gentle, kind, and generous to yourself at all times. See, these are all things that you can do during the course of the day. You don't need, do we really need something to come into our lives that's going to really motivate us to be grateful? Or are we just naturally grateful? There's the question. Do we need something to show us that we're in gratitude? Or is it that we are always in perpetual gratitude? Just that we just don't practice it. And we practice it over and over again, that you're deeply grateful. Whether you have ailments or illnesses or whatever, you're deeply grateful for the very moment you're in. Because you're able to experience those. And you do know that the body is temporary. Okay? Temporary. So what you're experiencing is temporary, not forever. And we start to realize that. Then we start looking at things a whole lot different. Am I going to be able to take a walk through the woods and just sit on a bench and take in nature? No, not forever. Am I going to be able to laugh and have fun? Not forever. It's going to end. We all know that because we're in these bodies on a temporary basis, so we can experience. And isn't it funny? We're reminded of it all the time. People around us are constantly leaving the body, but it doesn't register. You say it's temporary. If you build up a fortune, you're worth billions. You've got all these people that report to you. You've made just a massive kingdom, so to speak. And you've got all the toys and gizmos and everything. And then you leave the body. And all that is gone. Doesn't come with you, nothing does. Only the God that you are. And to realize this. See, it's like, when you have, like some of the people out there who have massive amounts of wealth and do nothing with it except bribe, right? Bribe, threaten, pillage, rape, burn, destroy. That's what they do with it. Which I wouldn't care to touch that karma for nothing. So then they, instead of helping others on the planet out of fear, they don't do a thing. See, this is where we start to see, as a collective consciousness, what doesn't work. It doesn't work that any financial structure gives a handful of people the total wealth of the planet and control of it. Because 9 times out of 10, it's because they are what? Effective. They've decided to go into pure evil and be destructive and dishonest, manipulative, distracting. All of the little games that they employ. Do they know what they're doing? No. Will they do it again? Yes. Forever, if you let them. It's like literally you could look at a hurricane that's barreling down on the country, and you can look at it from the perspective of the physics of it, how it's structured, how is it fed, and you could shut it down. One person can do that. I don't think people get it in a lot of cases. You've got fires in Maui going out of control. You could focus. Now, see, here's the trick. You cannot do it from the ego mind, and the ego mind will try to repeatedly trick you and making you believe you're doing it through the heart mind. And you're not. Nothing happens. But when these calamities, whether man-made or not, happen on this planet, we're able to thwart them. Truly so. Not out of revenge or hate or anything, but we won't have that. We're not going to have that. So you negate it. Something goes wrong with the directed energy weapon, and it misfires. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And then they try it again, and it shuts down. Right? People don't believe in themselves enough. When you truly believe in yourself and you have finally discovered the God that you are in that body and embrace that God on a 24/7 basis, you're going to know. Wouldn't it be, and this day will come when you can just go in your house, you're going. You got an entertainment room. There's no televisions, they're history. They don't exist anymore. You don't have any of this stuff. All you have is holographic imaging. And so you had all these different programs. And, a couple you programmed to see what it would be like. And so you put one in and you walk in and it's a paradise. Not a care in the world. No money needed, no disease, no sickness, no dishonesty. Doesn't exist there. And you have all these technologies there. But one by one you're finding out that you no longer need to use them. Because the civilization has acclimated itself to realize in the spirit direction, the spiritual, that they do it themselves. And it doesn't take, once you do discover that, it doesn't take weeks. A lot less time. And whenever a calamity hits any of the states in this country, anywhere in the world for that matter, what do? Oh, those poor people. Look at all that death and destruction. Over 2,000 acres burned, and 2,000 homes that are destroyed, and taking more oxygen away from the atmosphere. But all of us have the power we always have to dissuade anything. And then here's a good one. Well, it didn't work. It hit shore and did a lot of devastation and blah, 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 blah. Well, that's probably because you were talking from the ego mind thinking you were talking from the heart mind. You didn't focus on your breath going to now. That's the only way things are going to manifest, by focusing on the breath and going to the now and staying in the now. Then put your request out while you're in the now. How many do you believe of us it will take to totally transform this planet? Think about it. We affect at least 2 to 3 million people on average. 8 billion on the planet. When you cycle through it, you understand, well, I've chosen to take responsibility for this and to mitigate it without harm or anything. And isn't that easy? Because you'll see it happen. People on this planet know how to do it. You see a storm and you just basically pull its power forward. And it just dissipates and stays out in the ocean. But not enough to just say, well, I'm just little old me and I don't have that. They say they don't have that power. It's just little old them. Which is way more than that. way more than that. In the quiet time of the meditation, I mean, you can immediately start shifting the vibrational energies and frequencies by saying, I don't really care to have this happen on the planet. And I know to some that sounds far-fetched and ludicrous, but when you really sink into it, it's a piece of cake. It really is. And once you discover that, then that ends up expanding into other areas. We're not talking about arrogance of power. We're talking about genuineness, kindness, gentleness, humbleness, in a good way. If you know that you're omnipotently powerful and you can create anything you could possibly think of, do you really believe that you discovered that you would be arrogant and controlling and disrespectful for life? I don't believe so. I think it would be the opposite. I think life would be more revered. Every one of us. You know, because someone say, wow, look at that person, they can do that. Well, you can do it too, but you just haven't discovered it. See, we've all been given, with these bodies, right, the power through the gods that we are to create, to mitigate, to cleanse, to imbue, so many different avenues. But see, we get so caught up in this race on this planet, material physical world, that we negate that understanding. We just don't comprehend it. Some people believe that that race is the only way to go. They're provocative. Other people are trying to figure out how to get out of it. And then there's other people who have gotten out of it. And they're just as pleased as a pig in the poke. Because of the fact that now they've freed themselves from the illusion of all the tyranny and discord and negative things happening. And so now they're focusing on what they want. And not only that, they believe deeply on what they have asked the universe for. And they're not attached to it. And they don't have expectations to it. Those are tough things. To totally detach from it because you have put it out. And why do you do that? Because you have total trust, faith, and confidence in the universe and yourself. Period. That's it. So all you need to do is send it out through the heart mind in the now moment, and it will answer you. And it will give you what you've asked for. And most likely, so most of the time, it's more than you've asked for. And it usually does not come to you in exactly the format that you thought it would. Gravitating everything. When you listen about, no monetary structure on the planet in the near future, in just over a decade, what do you think that's going to be like? It'll be absolutely marvelous. That's when the civilization is truly creative, because it is creative geniuses. So they create things, and then they replicate them. And then eventually, they won't use a replicator. They'll do it on their own. Join in the meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. Easy and slow breath in the mouth. Remain still. In between your thoughts is the sweetest song that carries the greatest, gentlest music from your soul. There is a heavenly orchestra playing inside you, inviting you to relax and come home to yourself. When you get really quiet and surrender to the totality of existence, you'll hear it. You'll hear the most sweetest love song. Only in your most profound silence can you absorb the divine symphony. Be like a hollow flute and allow this healing love song to play through every breath you're breathing right now. Through every breath you're breathing right now. Take this with you for the rest of the day and the evening and night and the following morning. We'll return here Monday, August 14, 2023, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within or without.